Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to Social Chatter. Hey there, I'm Phil Gerbishak. I am your co-host. I am not Christian, but I am Phil. So I'm here tonight, and I am super duper pumped that we have a great guest tonight. Erica Heald is our guest tonight. She is a content marketing genius. She knows all things marketing. She's in San Francisco, actually in the city, and she is just dynamite. She does content marketing. She also runs a Twitter chat that she's going to talk about tonight. We've got lots of new stuff to talk about tonight. So, Erica, welcome to the show. We are really live this time.
Yay, we're live. Woohoo!
Yay, gotta love technology. So it's just you and me. So you're stuck with me tonight, Erica. I hope that's okay.
Well, Brandy said good things about you, so I'm cautiously optimistic.
All right, good. She said the same things about you. I really don't know what that means, but here the heck we are, right? So that's fun. So I did a little intro for you. Tell me the name of your Twitter chat and a little bit more about you. I did mention your content marketing genius and that you do social media as well. Oh, and I didn't say you do B2B too. So give me a little more intro, please.
Sure. So I run a consultancy here in San Francisco and work primarily with B2B enterprise technology companies. Because my background was I was at Charles Schwab for 10 years on the B2B side, helping them with all of their different technology product launches and working just with the advisor community. And from there, I just really had the technology bug. And so I jumped into working for startups. But I'm one of those people that always has a side project or two or three or five. So I really realized that the consultant life, small agency life, is really the right fit for me. So I've transitioned into doing that. But you mentioned my chat. And for the past 2 years now, or it'll be 2 years in maybe 2 weeks, I've been running Content Chat, which is this awesome chat every Monday at 12 noon Pacific, so lunchtime for those of us on the West Coast, and slacking off and go get a coffee time for the folks on the East Coast. And we talk about all sorts of content marketing topics with everybody from, we've had Joe Polizzi, we've had Ann Hanley, and then we just have regular in the trenches content marketing folks. So it's a really great community of people, and that's every Monday except next Monday because it's a holiday and I'm not working like everyone else. I would have a barbecue or something.
Awesome. So sunshine today in the San Francisco Bay Area instead of in the Tampa Bay area.
Finally, right now there's sunshine, but there wasn't earlier.
Yay, that's so good. And you mentioned we might have some extra guests tonight. Erica has friends, 2 little fur babies that are going to run around. What are their names, Erica?
Well, there's Marcello, who's named after Marcello Mastroianni, and then there is Bolvar, who is named after Bolvar Fordragon, a hero of the Alliance in the World of Warcraft, because I am a huge gaming geek.
Awesome. More fun. So I don't game, but I love that you do. I think that's super, super fun. Way cool.
I'm totally a teenage boy. You just can't tell.
That's cool. Well, see, I got my ass kicked by a teenage boy when I was 14 for saying that Dungeons and Dragons was a cult. So I never played. So there you go. I'm just saying. So actually, no, I was 12, but yeah, I'm still scarred. So I'm still scarred.
Sounds scary. Sounds terrible.
Yeah, it was. So I actually, believe it or not, I did see the first ever Dungeons and Dragons board at the Experience Music Project in Seattle several years ago with my buddy Kevin Froshy O'Malley.
Oh, very cool. I was at EMP last summer, but what I saw there was the Jim Henson exhibit, which is really cool because they had all the puppets from Dark Crystal, which is so awesome. But they did not have anything that I wished to purchase, and that made me very sad because I'm like, this is a very prime merchandising opportunity. I would like to give you my money, and then nothing that I wanted to buy, and I was super sad.
I bet that's because Disney now owns all the Muppet stuff, so all the good stuff, all the money would have had to go back to Disney, so it probably wouldn't have been worth their while to even carry it.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't have made much of a profit off of it.
Yeah, that's my guess. So, wow, so crazy. So before we get started in the good stuff here, and hopefully Christian's going to join us in just a bit here, what's hot right now in content marketing for everybody watching?
You know, I think what's really hot is brands that are coming up with content that is finally really content marketing and not veiled product. And I say this because I've had the pleasure of doing some judging for this year's Content Marketing Awards, and I'm seeing some truly awesome social content for the 2 categories I'm judging, where it's just like, you're like, wow, you wouldn't know that this was branded content, except that it was being submitted, in a category by a brand. Like really good stuff that you show, understanding of the audience, and it's super compelling and super empathetic. And one of them I wrote, wow, I freaking love this. That was my comment that I actually put. And I never put those kinds of comments on things. So I think it's the, creating content that's so good that people really would pay for it, whether that's visual content or fun interactive content, but really having that kind of desire to engage and connect with your audience and not talk about yourself, which is really hard. Marketers, we like to talk about ourselves.
Did you mention how awesome I am? Because I was going to mention how awesome I am. Can we talk about no? Right. So I'm totally with you. I think that is going to be the death of marketers, because if they just talk about themselves and how great they are or how great their brand is, their customers don't give a crap. I mean, they don't care. Doesn't matter how good you are, right? It's how much your customers love you.
And look at like all the direct-to-consumer brands that are doing really well right now. They're brands who are creating these amazing personal feeling experiences, for people. They're creating, if somebody like Casper is creating a visual space where people can come in and take really fun photos while having the fun experience of taking a nap to see if they want to buy one of those mattresses in a beautiful Instagram-ready setting. I mean, that's brilliant, right? If people are going to pay money to go to the Museum of Ice Cream, why can't your brand have something that's that fun and engaging for your audience? I mean, that to me is how you win.
Totally how you win. And did you just say that we're getting tickets to the World Museum of Ice Cream? Where are we going?
When can you get here?
So you have there's really a Museum of Ice Cream?
It's downtown. It's in the old, in an old bank building that used to be Armani, but now it's the Museum of Ice Cream.
Oh, game on. I love a good mint chocolate chip ice cream. That sounds fabulous. That's really good.
The only bad thing is it's not gluten-free. So you'd have to hear me grumble a lot because I can't eat gluten. And, they have lots of things there I can't have. So I'd probably be like, well, like the 5-year-old version of me that told everyone there was no Santa Claus. That would probably happen there too. I'd probably start talking to people about food allergies and maybe, suggesting them they could potentially be lactose intolerant, just to sort of, vent my frustration about the gluten. So
going to the ice cream museum, the key is earmuffs. I got it. So that's good. Thank you for letting me know. So that's good. So for those watching here, contentmarketingawards.com is what Erica's talking about. Check that out. Erica, when did they announce that?
At Content Marketing World in September, they'll announce all the folks that win the Content Marketing Awards. So it should be pretty awesome. Awesome. Cool. And then I was to talk about what I saw exactly.
Yeah, nope. I know you can't. I want to tease folks so they get a little bit of that, but that's really cool. And it looks like, hey, who's joined us but Stranger Danger? What's up, Christian?
Hey, everyone. How are y'all doing?
Good, buddy.
Doing pretty good. Hopefully my audio will keep up here. But hey, this is the fun thing about live video, by the way. I got to listen in on some of the conversation, but it's a challenge. But here's the thing: as a business, you need to make sure you work through all of the kinks, and you take the good with the bad. I mean, so thanks for joining us tonight, Eric. Or I guess this afternoon, right, or evening? Let's see, what is it?
Evening.
7 o'clock her time.
Yeah, morning time here. Sorry. So it's really great to meet you. You have a lot of energy, and I actually loved hearing your story. So we dropped the link to content chat as well in the live video. So thanks for joining us.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, cool. So Christian, you got to tell us, buddy, where in the world is Carmen Christian Karasevich? Where are you, buddy?
Here's the crazy thing: I'm actually in a hotel bar at the moment because I couldn't find a business center to work in. Everything apparently was booked. It's about a little after 5 a.m. here. So yeah, that's clearly where I'm at right now. So I'll tell you more about that later.
Good. Well, make sure to pour one for us. Eric and I are going for ice cream. So you got the show, man.
By the way, that sounded fantastic, actually, the ice cream museum. You know, and I, by the way, I love what you're talking about, you know, how brands need to really tap into like what, you know, just making a really great experience for your customer. I mean, it's not about you as a business. It's not about like, hey, I can beat my drum the loudest. You know, it's about sharing like what your customers want. So I really love the examples you were sharing there. You know, this is, you know, that's a key thing I think for people to remember. I mean, I know we've got like Eddie here. Eddie's watching. I think he works with some brands down in Florida. Who else do we have on tonight? We've got Nicole. You know, we've got Tamara. So you know, I know a lot of people.
Yeah, Carolyn's on too. Can you give us an example, Erica? Carolyn's asking for an example. Can you give us one maybe that didn't make that you like that's really good?
An example of brands that do a really good job of creating experience.
Yeah. Yep. You said Casper, right? But
yeah,
is Casper the one?
Casper is a really good one. But even just like a smaller local brand sticking with ice cream. Here in San Francisco, we have Humphrey Slocombe, which is amazing ice cream. They have this ice cream called Secret Breakfast, which is bourbon and cornflakes. So good. So good. And they're just amazing. And they have really, really fun and engaging social content all the time. It's really sassy. And when you meet them in person, they're like that for reals. I remember when I got to try their blueberry boy bait ice cream, which was so good. And I tweeted it immediately because I was at a food trade show. And I was so excited to share it. And, you know, they get excited when everyone else is excited too. And they just create these really fun. Oh, and they had a very colorful employee who was all decked out there too. I mean, just, I don't know. It was just like one of those super fun experiences. And I'm like, this is like the best booth at this trade show. And it's just a little tiny booth from a little local producer. And it's about having those personalities and showing it and engaging with their fans.
So if I'm a small business, for example, like, you know, I know Eddie mentioned like Shake Shack here doing a great job of pulling their audience into their content. But if I'm a small business, typically, you know, I'm probably a 1 to 2 man show here. What are some things that I can do to, you know, to be able to create those experiences, even though I don't have a big staff? Any recommendations or suggestions there?
Yeah, I mean, the first one is so basic. When somebody says, "Oh my God, I love you," reply back, "We love you too." And that seems so obvious, right? But you know what? When your biggest fans are out there and expressing that because they're excited and you don't reply, you break our hearts. And then we're walking down the street and we see another local business. We're like, well, maybe be better. Because, you know, you do feel, you know, like you're rejected when somebody doesn't, you know, talk back to you on social. And especially when it's a small business, we know you don't have staff. We know you're busy. But, you know, gotta reply when somebody is talking about you. You just have to
share
and
that
it doesn't take very long.
It doesn't, because you know you can literally pick a few gifts that you think are amazing and just have those like ready to go and just say thank you. You know, we love you too. You know, the feedback. Just have those like small replies, but you just tailor it. Like for instance, when people reply to me, they send me cat gifts because I have 2 very naughty cats that show up in things all the time. And people know I'm moderately obsessed with that. So, you know, I get really funny gifts from people and I love it. It makes you feel like they're paying attention.
Definitely.
Even with B2B, hold on, with B2B too, sure. Erica, I mean, you gotta tell us this because we talked a couple weeks ago with Ann Wynn. Ann says, don't GIF in B2B. What do you think?
It totally depends on your audience. Because if you look at some of the really fun B2B brands, they totally use GIFs. They use slang. They use really casual language. Like Buffer, they're all about the GIFs, all right? They're not going to, you know, and they're primarily B2B. They're not really selling to an individual person to schedule their social. They're selling to small business owners. So it
absolutely.
Really, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just saying, yeah, they also use, you know, they use emoji. I mean, they're like, you know, it fits with their content.
Exactly.
You know, it's about making it fun to read.
Yes.
Versus like, hey, I'm technical. Like, you know, let me give you something that's over the top of your head. Like, bring it down a few levels and talk to your customers on the right level. As you mentioned, it's not about just pushing your product and just saying, hey, check out my stuff. Hey, we want you to buy this, this new computer system or something that we have, if you're that type of business. So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely essential that they, really, try to tap into that. I mean, you don't have to try to do it in everything you do. I mean, maybe run a small test, a little A/B split testing, see what works with your customers.
100%. And it's just all about finding your voice and being true to it. And, I work frequently with clients to define a brand voice for their content. And, you work out some of those things. You decide, is this brand playful? Are we friendly? Are we, a little, do we have that little bit of insouciance? Are we a little are we making fun of ourselves? Who are we? And then things like whether or not you use emojis or GIFs or participate in memes, it really rolls out of that. And I've worked for a bunch of B2B companies that, let me tell you, they didn't take themselves seriously, and they completely would use stuff that was funny and poke fun at themselves. So, B2B doesn't have to be boring to boring.
Yay!
That's fantastic. You mentioned that. I mean, it doesn't have to be boring. We've got Kelly's here. She's mentioning she makes her own animated GIFs. So, we dropped the tool there for people that, you want to make your own GIFs that will look good on your content and whatnot. So, by the way, Phil,
Institute has done that. There's all these great. There's all these great gifs of Joe Polizzi from the Content Marketing Institute wearing his ornaments and stuff. And so in the CM World chats, you'll see those pop up every so often. And it's just so much fun.
And it's about, you could also have you could create these animated GIFs and just have your own or memes and have these content banks ready so that way, you drop them at the, right moment. I mean, so you just have to be really, just pay attention to your brand. What are you doing, and just drop some things when they are relevant, or you feel like they're the right time. So
spontaneity.
Definitely. So Phil, are you guys ready? Y'all ready to get started with the show?
Yeah, buddy. Let's get this started, man. Let's kick this off.
So So for those of you watching, by the way, we've got a lot of great people watching here. A lot of people I personally know. Y'all do fantastic work. So feel free to help us out by hitting the share button. Let's bring more people in. Let's have more discussions. So where do you want to start tonight, Phil?
Well, I really want to start in the Facebook group admin tools because I really think this is super important for brands and for businesses to get right. So
what do we have going on here?
Yeah, so what we have going on here is Facebook finally is giving us not just one group type or a couple crappy ones, but really some good tools here to help people do this. And my favorite one is, if people violate the rules, you can tell them which rule they broke, right? Because that's right. I mean, it seems so obvious. It's like, hey, stop being a wanker. Well, what does that mean, right? So now we can tell them what that means to them. So I really think for businesses that have even a small community, but a powerful community, you now have an opportunity to really, really help that group be strong and manage them, as opposed to LinkedIn, which went the other way and opened things up and now they're garbage, right? So, Erica, what do you think about this one? I think this one is hot.
I think it's great because otherwise, when you're kicking somebody out of your group, they have to guess why it happened. And if they're guessing why it happened, they could come up with all sorts of crazy conspiracy theories that they're going to start spreading all over their Facebook, all over Twitter, all over everywhere. And then you can go from having a small issue to having an actual crisis communications issue. And no one wants that. That's not how you want to spend your day. So I love that. Plus, what happens when you fire someone? You want to make it easier to get them out of everything. I mean, or even if they leave willingly, how many times have you had a client that you're working for and you can just never get your name off of the LinkedIn page or get out of the Facebook group because it was too difficult for them to figure out how to do it. So any of this kind of stuff is just so welcome because you can't kick yourself out, which is the worst part. Because I would just to get rid of the notifications, but you can't.
Yeah, I've got way too many orphan pages too. Christian, what about you, man? What are you thinking about this one?
I will say I love all of these group admin tools. In particular, I like the one for basically letting you as an admin or moderator remove a post that violates your community rules, I like the fact that you can then tell your the people who are in your group, your members, you can tell them which rule they violated. I think that's really important. A lot of times I get a lot of people reach out to me, and they're like, hey, I try to post to Facebook groups and, I can't get my content seen, for instance, or it gets flagged or whatever. Like, it's really good to have your rules set up. And I think as a business, this is very useful because, Facebook wants you to build a community. It's not about just having a page and posting everything to your page. You need to create a more intimate experience, and groups are a fantastic way to do that. But the one caveat with groups is that they can take a lot of time to manage. And a lot of people, here's the thing, they don't really set up the rules, or they set them up and then they have to go in and manage things, on an individual basis. And I think by having the ability to go in and tell somebody which rule they broke, you set your rules at the beginning and you tell them, and I think it's going to be very useful for anyone who runs a Facebook group. You can also get rid of a lot of the spam links and whatnot that people are posting. I think this will definitely help with that as well, if you have a hard and fast rule that you as a business use for your Facebook group.
And the pre-approval. That's the other thing I like, right? If you've got someone in your group, if I've got Erica in my group, Erica, you are pre-approved, girl. You post whatever you want on their ice cream museum or not, you go, right? So I think that's really good because I may not want to give Erica the keys to the kingdom, but I certainly want her great content. And I think that's really helpful.
I love that, because think of the possibilities for your influencers too, because that way you can give them free reign because you trust them, you want them to have that engagement with your group. But there are probably people within your own organization that you don't want to have those, the ability to do that either. So you just don't have to tell them that you can pre-approve them. Yeah,
that's me. I'm usually that guy. Christian doesn't even let me go on the page anymore. So yeah, that's okay. So
I will say I love all of these group updates that they're doing this week. I mean, they've added, admin support. So that way, like if you need help with your Facebook group, you could actually go to apparently somebody at Facebook. Currently, this is on iOS and Android in English and Spanish, but they have this feature being added. They're adding some online admin education resources to help you better understand Facebook groups. But then I think to me, the cherry on top for these is, the group rules feature and the pre-approval of members. It's about building trust with your customers or with people, with your fans. And if you have certain people that they're always posting, they're helping you moderate the group, for instance, they're doing a fantastic job. They're sticking by the rules that you have set for your group. I think that these are four at least. These are very, very, very powerful features. And the thing is, they're going to also remove some of those barriers. For instance, if you've been really, hesitant to use Facebook groups because you said, hey, it takes too much time. They take time, but now by having, for instance, pre-approval, that's, maybe that's 5 less people I have to go in and approve their content on. With the rules, at least I can now also then, start to put something in place to make my group easier to manage. So this is a fantastic update this week.
And you have to assume that this also is going to make it easier to implement chatbots that can deal with some of this stuff in the future. Because once you can set rules and you can set different permission levels for individuals, it's got to make it a lot easier to start being able to use AI, chatbots, et cetera, which is certainly good news.
And the whole point is being able to engage, with your customers. You don't, and this is the same thing. If this runs true for your website, your blog, people spend too much time managing their site. Like, hey, I have to update my plugins, I have to build a theme. On social, now I have to manage all these people that come into my page. I have to manage a group. The good thing about this is removing those barriers, those obstacles. So there's no more excuses behind why you can't be, on your Facebook group engaging more with your customers.
Totally agree. Totally agree. That's a great one, Christian. I'm glad you found that one this week. So let's stay on Facebook though. Let's move to the fact that for slower users, and we don't mean slower, like not as smart. We're talking like slower non-LTE users for stories with audio archiving and saved clips, which again removes the barriers to people that might be in a rural area from leveraging Facebook stories. So Erica, have you seen this one? You got any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I thought it was fascinating that they decided to go with India as the initial market for that, because basically they're going to be stress testing. They're picking the audience that's most likely to have some of those constraints, to not have unlimited data, to not have the ability, to be in a crowded setting where they're not going to want to necessarily go live with video anyway. I love that they're stress testing in this way with such a huge market. It'll be interesting to see what people end up doing with it.
Yeah, I'm curious too, but I think you're right. I mean, you test with the biggest group first. I mean, if it doesn't work, well, okay, then we go back to the drawing board. But people don't do that. Usually they test with like Rhode Island or something. Right. So it's fun to see that they're testing with India. So Christian, what do you think about this one, dude?
I think, the main part about this, I think the audio is the key thing here. I love the idea that you guys mentioned about stress testing here. But I think the audio is key because it also, I think, will be a way for people to slowly wade their way into using stories. I don't think a lot of people use them as much. I think people have a hard time, businesses have a hard time figuring out, well, what do I post, for instance, on my page or my group? And, what do I put into stories as well? Like, it's too much content for them to have to come up with. So I like the fact that they're doing, the ability to do audio. I think it also creates a different dynamic. For example, one thing we do with the show here is we turn this into an Alexa flash briefing, for instance, so that people want to listen on that device. They can go in and listen to it as well. So that way we're able to reach, audiences in different areas who have different, accessibility needs, for instance. So I'm really glad to see that they're actually rolling this out. And they're also going to make it where it's actually exciting. So it's not just like, hey, go listen to my old school audio clip. They're going to, add some nice background and whatnot to it, so it doesn't seem as boring. And you have to think, like, audio can be very useful if you use it in the right, frame here. So this is another really, really good update from Facebook this week.
So Christian, if people want to get the Social Chef's 8-track, daily email, what's that URL again so that they can do that?
It's socialchefs.com/daily, actually, and that will drop you into our email list, and you can go sign up there. But yeah. So folks, if you're on a lower bandwidth connection and you're listening to this and you're like, crap, I want to see this maybe in just text. Well, now you have an opportunity to do that with socialchefs.com/daily. So just something for folks, because we can be old school too. No 8-tracks here. We're harmed in the making of this Facebook Live. So I hope you enjoy it. So.
I would just
very good.
A lot of people are intimidated by video. I love video. I hate doing phone calls. I always send people a Zoom link. I want to see them because it's just so much engaging. But a lot of folks, especially small business owners, video feels like one more hard thing to learn. But, we're all used to talking on the phone. Everyone's probably used voice memos. You leave voicemails. Audio is just so much more approachable.
Yeah. Great point, Erica.
By the way, I use audio a lot through Facebook Messenger. If I'm having a conversation with someone and I know that it's going to be something where I need to kind of explain myself, I don't just sit there and chat. I basically just record a quick audio, send it to the person, and then the person can, listen to it and respond however they need to. So, there's lots of practicality to having audio here. And you have to remember, like, we're all mobile. So, for example, somebody might want to listen to your stories, for instance, in their car. In this case, they can listen to them in their car because, hey, they can't watch your video, for instance, or they can't read your blog post. So keep that in mind.
Awesome. Good tips there. Good tips. So let's move over to YouTube now. Let's talk about YouTube now offering picture-in-picture with YouTube Red, which could be really kind of a game changer here for folks. And they're really pushing us to YouTube Red, which is coming on smart TVs soon, going to beat the crap out of Hulu and some of these other services. I don't know. I'm not subscribed yet. I do have Hulu, Netflix. I've got MySpace, Plurk, all those. So, Erica, what about you? Are you a YouTube Red user?
I'm not. I use Twitch for gaming content because I'm an online gamer. And I've got Amazon Prime, and I use Amazon Prime Video. I have Netflix. And I have HBO's standalone subscription so that I can watch Game of Thrones and Westworld. But, YouTube Red, I don't know. I just, it hasn't really engaged me. And, I'm not probably the right market for the watching a video within a video. I'm already doing something else to multitask. I don't need to watch two things at the same time.
There you go. But if I'm playing a game, though, and I put the how-to on the little video there, and then I watch the how to get to the next level, I don't know. I could see you doing that, Erica.
Well, yeah, I do that on my iPad, and it's already built in.
So you'd rather put up another screen instead of going picture in picture.
Yeah, like right now,
okay.
my normal gaming setup, I'm on an iMac, 27-inch iMac, and then I have my little pink laptop, and I have that just sitting right to my right, and I'm running my Discord channel or my Twitch or whatever off of that. So I'm already a multi-screen user. It's, you just get used to it with gaming, especially, I think.
Wow. And actually, not just for YouTube Red, but also without Red, which, we'll see what they do. I'm going to guess they tease us and then they take it back away. I don't know. Christian, what are you thinking about this one, bud?
I think that, I'm very interested to see how this rolls out from a subscription model standpoint. While they're only testing this right now, I feel that, like if you use, for instance, Facebook and WhatsApp, you're used to the picture-in-picture feature. So it sort of seems to me like it needs to be built in. But I'm not a YouTube Red subscriber. I tested it out a little bit, which was great. One of the features that was very useful was, it removes ads on, say, YouTube videos. But the benefit there is if I'm a business, for instance, I'm using my YouTube channel now, I'm getting a small cut of the YouTube Red subscribers that watch my videos that skip them. So it's good for me in that sense. So to me, I'm like, hey, this seems like a step back, because if I don't have to subscribe and I'm not getting that automated revenue there, or the automatic revenue, where's that revenue going to come from then? So the other flip side to this is they're looking at having a feature to let you disable the PIP feature for your video. So I'm like, well, that's really useful. I think from a business perspective, I like the fact that, I'd be able to disable letting the picture-in-picture playback happen. But I think that it needs to be a built-in feature. I don't think that needs to be something you need to pay for. We've got too many subscriptions we're already paying for. There needs to be something more compelling there than, Google Play Music, which I think was rebranded, right? Google Play Music, yep. And skipping ads. I think they need something else to make YouTube Red to be, a service I would pay for.
Well, so. Cobra Kai, Eddie just mentioned he's got YouTube Red, and other than Cobra Kai, he says it's not worth it. So maybe YouTube will get with it and actually build out some more programming. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe a Joni Loves Chachi reboot, or what are we thinking here?
I hope not.
No, I'd like to see The Greatest American Hero again. That's the only thing that I watch on Amazon Prime. So.
I was thinking that they would come out with a service that would compete with Amazon Prime, because Amazon Prime is just doing a fantastic job with, just adding more and more services and just charging you a very small annual subscription, even though they've increased the, amount over the past couple of years. But I think that, YouTube needs to, or Google, YouTube, I think they need to start to bolt their services together and give me, give users something that is going to offer a lot more services, a lot more value, I think, than just, things you're probably already paying for.
There's something with that, though, because they have Google Shopping Express. I don't know if it's other places, but, I used it here when it first came out, and they really pulled back from that and started having very little availability for it, having, really high prices. And it was funny because then Amazon drank their milkshake. And you're like, why did you let that happen? Because now with Amazon, we can get same day delivery. And I used to do that through Google, and I was happy to pay them for delivery. And now I can basically not pay Amazon for delivery and buy everything through them. So.
Interesting.
Absolutely. And I will say that same day delivery is fantastic if you're a business and you need to get something. Say we talk about some equipment, for instance, you're like, hey, I want to get that. The great thing is same day delivery on Amazon. It works. It's perfect. It's actually a really nice surprise to be able to have something delivered without having to go get it at the store, and to get it that same day. So
totally
fantastic.
Totally. Well, Kelly says she loves Amazon Prime and Netflix all the way. Very cool, Kelly. Thanks for sharing that with us. We're glad that you like those. So no YouTube Red for her, no YouTube Red for any of us, which is telling because many of the people on here are loving the digital stuff. Very interesting. Very interesting. So, Christian, let's go. Last but not least, let's go over to what's up with Instagram and finally muting people.
So what we have
muting
this week,
people
Instagram.
In the stream.
Yeah, they're rolling out this mute and feed feature. I guess that's the name they're calling it, or maybe they're just calling it Instagram Mute. But mute in feed, which basically will let you mute people. This will help clean up your Instagram feed, and apparently, according to Instagram, it'll give you a more personalized approach to Instagram. So that's what we have going on this week.
So is it so, Christian? I looked a little bit at this, but I didn't really understand it. Are we muting by person, like, hey, I don't want to see any more Christian, or is it by hashtag, like, hey, I don't want to see any more hashtag, tacos or something, or what is this?
So right now it's just by person. That actually is a really good idea, by the way, though, to be able to mute a hashtag. That would actually be very useful, because a lot of people, I almost look at like Twitter, like people don't understand Twitter, for instance, like we're adding more and more rules to Instagram. I think there might need to be a hashtag option as well at some point, but right now only for people, or only for accounts, Instagram accounts. Let me say that.
I love it, because we all have those friends that you feel obligated to follow them on Instagram. Mm-hmm. But you get really tired of seeing all of the really terrible pictures they're posting, like of their feet doing something. You're like, that's great that your feet are at the beach, mine aren't. Or 50 shots of their brand new puppy, and you're like excited about the first one and not the next 48, 49. So I love that, because you can mute them and come back to them later. Mm-hmm. I love that. I use mute on Twitter, and I totally know I'll use it on Instagram too.
Do you ever unmute anybody though, Erica? Because I got to tell you, if I unfollow you on Facebook, I might as well just unfriend and block, right? Because I'm never going back, Jack. Once you're done, you're done. I'm not going back.
No, when I unfollow folks on Facebook, I do still see them on posts, with our mutual friends. I still sometimes go and look at their page. It's just that on a day-to-day basis, I just can't handle their drama in my feed. And I think, we've all had a lot of that recently, where, you have the folks that just, whatever their pet issue is, they are a dog with a bone about it. And you're just tired of it. And you don't want to see another post about it. It depresses you. People are leaving, are like, oh, I have to leave Facebook because it's so depressing. And I'm like, what are you talking about? My Facebook feed is full of kittens and puppies and awesome food and travel. And they're like, what? I'm like, I trained the algorithm about what I want to see. And I just unfollowed people who I love as friends, but I don't want to see their stuff unless I'm going there specifically to see them.
And here's the thing with this. I think that this is like a precursor. So I think that, they're going to roll out this to Instagram users in the next couple of weeks, they said. But I think this could be a feature where it'll initially be a mute option, but then maybe they'll have, mute them, for instance, for 30 days. Like I use, for instance, like Tweetbot for Twitter. That's my Twitter client. And I have a mute feature there as well, where I can go in and I can, and I can hide people for a certain amount of time, forever and whatnot. So I think that that's going to be useful. Now, the thing that I really want to see happen here, though, is if I'm a business, I'm a brand here, and I'm using Instagram, I need a report. And I actually think this should go to every single user. I need analytics to tell me how many people have muted me. I don't need to see who they are necessarily, but I need a feature to show me who is there. And the reason being is because I need to be improving my business, my brand, with every little thing that I'm doing. And hey, if I see that I've gotten 50 people that have muted me, maybe I need to reduce the amount of content. Maybe I need to talk to some of those people in person, see what they have to say. Maybe they said, hey, you know what? I'm just seeing all of your posts in my feed. But as you mentioned, Erica, I think it's a great idea to, you need to train the algorithm what you want to see. So, so I think this is a very useful feature, but I want reports. Business
accounts only, though, not for the lame user, right? Because that's just a waste of money. I think that the investment has got to be in the business side. I am with you, Christian. I would love to know if, if my last post caused 13 people to mute me. I want to know that. Yeah. I think that's great.
Well, especially why not add a notification? That would also be really cool. If you have an influx of 50 people, all of a sudden I get muted. Why don't you show me a notification? Hey, you're just muted by 50 people. That's pretty shocking, I think.
I agree. And I think that in the wake of GDPR, a lot of folks are having to take their Google Analytics and have that be something that's optional, that people have to opt in to load it on the site. So we're not going to have the best, most accurate data through Google Analytics anymore. So we're really going to be relying upon the social networks where people are opting into the privacy policy, opting into the way the data is used. now those platforms, as business owners, we're going to be willing to, maybe pony up a little bit of money to get better reporting from them, because we'll be able to learn more than we'll be able to even learn from our own sites, which is crazy in a different topic. But
yeah.
By the way, sorry for cutting you off there. I was having some audio issues, so sorry about that.
No problem.
So, by the way, Carolyn mentioned, something that's fantastic here. Mindset of some is me, rather than sharing with others. And that's key. I mean, we talked about this earlier about experiences. It's about creating an experience for your customers. It's not about it's not about me. So keep that in mind. Great point, Carolyn. Really like that point.
Awesome. So that's our big 4 topics. We're going to put a bunch more in the blog post, but now it's time for tools. Christian, tool time.
So let's talk tools. I know. I gotta add
Work
that
on
in.
some sound effects. Yeah.
Or construction hat, maybe a hammer.
There you go. I'll be the guy that's in the Navy. We
hat.
can be the village people. Christian will be the construction guy. I'll be in the Navy. Erica, you want to be the Native American guy? What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe next week.
Not in San Francisco. You don't do anything like that here.
Oh, man. All right. Yeah, I suppose. I'm not trying to culturally appropriate anybody. We're talking about the village people. We were talking about 8-tracks before. If you're offended, I'm sorry. That's unintentional. I'm just an offensive guy. Sorry. So.
I'm not offended.
Good. I'm glad. I'll try harder next time. So, we're going to Viraltag. Christian, what do we got,
We're
man?
talking about Viraltag first. Okay, so Viraltag. So let's talk about, social media scheduling tools. There's a lot of options out there. Some of them, they just do scheduling. For instance, we mentioned Buffer at the beginning of the show. AgoraPulse, another fantastic scheduling tool. This week, we covered, I think, AgoraPulse last week. This week, we have Viraltag. This is, they're the number 1 social media marketing tool for sharing visuals. At least that's according to Viraltag. They work with a lot of really big brands. We've got Estee Lauder, we've got Lacoste. But basically what this does is it's not just a scheduling tool. It will also let you recycle your content that you've created. So the typical approach that most businesses will take when scheduling social media content is they will probably sit down, they either put together a spreadsheet, or they will go in and they will schedule content maybe at a week at a time. How far out do you schedule, Erica?
It depends. For some clients, I'll schedule a week out. For some of my gluten-free content, I'll do a couple of weeks out. It really depends. Like Pinterest, I schedule the whole month.
Okay, so you schedule. So here's what most people do is, they'll schedule, and then it's almost like you're on a basically on a hamster wheel. Basically, you schedule your content goes out, and hey, look at that, you're back on it the next week, getting that content scheduled. So one of the features that I think is very useful, by the way, is the evergreen feature, and this is going to let you set up. In this case, you could set up different content that you want to continuously go out. Like, for example, you've written a blog post that's a very relevant blog post, or you've got some tools or something you're talking about on your website. You drop that into Viraltag, and then you can have it go out while you're still doing other things. So it's recycling all of your relevant content. That, to me, is worth its weight in gold. I mean, this is, I think, like $24 a month, I think. $24 a month. But fantastic feature for that. You could also pull in your RSS feed, your typical approach, but you also have a marketing calendar. It taps into link shortening, and you do get some social analytics with your basic package. What tools do you currently use or you recommend, Erica? Are you using Viraltag at all, or?
I'm not using Viraltag. I use Sprout Social for most of my scheduling because I love the one-on-one engagement, and this is this huge, ginormous cat is Marcello.
Hi, Marcello.
He loves video chats. Usually turns up. So I use.
Does he have his own show?
Marcello,
Does he have his own show?
Oh, he does not have his own show because he is a pain. And if he had his own show, he would sometimes just not show up.
He's looking for sponsorship, though. So anybody got a couple bucks, send some catnip to Erica.
He actually just would work for food.
That's it. Me too. I do, actually. This show, Christian, you still owe me some food, dude. Send it over.
Yes. He loves his food.
Awesome.
I use Sprout Social for most of my scheduling, and then I use Tailwind for Pinterest. I find that really helpful because that way you can schedule out quite a bit of content and have groups, which makes it really easy to curate.
Oh, both fantastic tools, actually. I think we've talked about Tailwind before on the show.
Yeah, maybe a long time ago, but it's a great tool. Awesome tool. And this looks really good, Christian. I'm amazed that you found this, man. Viraltag looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, very powerful tool. I mean, you're not talking about a lot of money. The thing you have to remember here, is how much time these tools can save you. A lot of people like to say, hey, that's an expensive investment. But you know what? The tools are there to save you time. If they can help you, for instance, close more clients or work with more, sell more products, for instance, why not use it?
Yeah, I totally agree. For $25 a month to get you one new client a month and you use the tool, it's worth it. Totally agree.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid. By the way, here's the other thing. People get stuck with a tool. They use a tool and then all of a sudden, like they're 6 months into the tool and they're like, hey, I need to change to something else. Don't be afraid to move from one tool to the next, whatever's going to offer you the better job. It's let's talk about it from a video game perspective. You're always leveling up, right? So, if you're using a tool, like you get started and you're using, say you're doing everything manual or you're using spreadsheets to begin with, and then you move into hey, you know what? The next month I'm going to get or a couple months later, I'm going to get a better tool as my business improves. Keep doing those things to level yourself up and improve your business and make it easier. That everything we've done, it's like building a house. You build it, every one little piece at a time. You don't just hey, I've got this whole side together. Let me just slap it up right here. It takes work. So keep that in mind. And speaking of data, by the way, we talked about this earlier. Next tool we have is called Looker.
Looker! Is this a dating app? Christian, is this another dating app?
It's not. I did wonder about this when I looked at my notes. I was like, what in the world?
That's what I was looking for. I don't know, man.
Looker was a client of ours when I was at Highwire PR, which is a big tech PR firm here in the city.
All right.
So do you want to talk about Looker, by the way? Do you want to talk about them?
They weren't a client though. But
okay.
I just love that they make it really easy to take all of that data you have coming in and to turn it into the kind of visuals that you need to use when you're having conversations with your leadership team. Because they don't want to get down in the weeds. They want you to have a beautiful chart that tells a story. And they do a really good job of making it simple.
Absolutely. And that's the key thing with a lot of everybody has that. You have access to data, for instance, in your business. You have access to Facebook data, Facebook analytics. You've got access to your Twitter data. You can go into Pinterest, as well. You can look at all your data and see how you're performing. But I think a lot of people don't do it because it's one more thing. It's Facebook, and then all of a sudden it's Twitter. If you get a lot of interactions, you spend a lot of time on these platforms, and you don't spend enough time in the data looking at it to make your smarter marketing decisions. So
you don't know what you're looking at. I mean, that's the real problem, Christian, is something we never get to on the show, and that is strategy before tools. Mm-hmm. Right? Why am I doing this? So we should do a deep dive one of these shows, and Erica, maybe we'll have you back to do a deep dive on content because we need to do a little deeper because this week in social are awesome, but I'd love to go a little deeper. Christian, what do you think about that, man? Maybe doing a webinar or something.
I think that makes a lot of sense, actually, because, again, it starts with strategy. If you don't have a sound strategy, you could do all the stuff that you want, and, you're going to just tread water the whole time, or you're going to feel like you're, rowing in a circle and not going anywhere. So I think we should definitely do that.
Cool. And we got a yes from Erica. Yay!
By the way, Erica,
Marshall will be there now.
No promises.
You have to talk to his agent.
All right.
By the way, do you remember the pricing for Looker? I know they have a request a demo option, so people could tap into this and learn more about their website and also their social data.
I don't know, but they're gonna. If they were a client of ours, they're going to be at the higher end of S&P.
Right.
They're not going to be,
probably $100 a month. You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
Cool.
Maybe,
cool. Well, that's good. So, wow, such great stuff this week, Erica. We loved having you on. How do people find you? How do people get in touch with you?
I'm on Twitter at SF Erica. That's Erica with a K, no C. That's usually the best place to find me. I'm on Twitter all the time. I'm one of those people.
Yeah. Send her cat gifts too. Lots of them.
Please.
So, cool. That's awesome. Well, that's super exciting. We're really, really glad you're here. You're wicked smart and full of energy and really fun. And you helped me carry the show while Christian was busy looking for drinks in the bar. So thank you for that, Erica.
Well, now
Thank you.
I can't wait to come out
So,
to Florida one of these days, and you'll have to buy me an ice cream.
absolutely, I'll buy you a gluten-free ice cream with no, or some beers or whatever you want on me.
Awesome.
I'll take good care of
So
you.
y'all need to do a comparison, like who has the better ice cream? Is it San Francisco? Is it Tampa? I mean, everybody goes to the beach. Everybody goes to Florida, and they love having a good time. So I think y'all should do a comparison as well on that. Maybe you can do like an Instagram poll or something and vote.
There we go. Yeah.
Great idea.
Awesome.
So, so this has been a fantastic show, by the way. Thanks for letting me be a part of this, and everybody Phil and Erica, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this, and for carrying the show earlier this morning. For everybody who is watching, remember, go to socialchefs.com/daily. You'll be able to get into the daily email that we send out. We'll send you a blog recap. We have a couple more topics that we didn't talk about during the show. Next week, we're going to be joined by Jessica Duell. Make sure I'm saying that right, but she's going to be our guest next week. And then we're going to have Nick Rishwain back to co-host for next week's show. But Erica, fantastic having you on. I really loved learning from you. So thank you so much for taking the time to spend it with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me.
So we'll see y'all next week. Bye, everyone.
More Jello.
For how long?